Hey, it's Todd Ault, and welcome to Risk On. It's February 10th, the 8th day of the show. This show could be the greatest show about risk ever produced. That's a forward-looking statement. It could be. We don't know that it is for sure. We're going to cover a lot of topics today. I'm Todd Ault. As I said, this is Jason Bartholomew, professional poker player, professional baseball player, ex-professional baseball player. Me, I'm executive chairman of Ault Global on the New York American. The topic today, say it ain't so, Mark Cuban. We're going to talk about Mark Cuban and not playing the national anthem. I hope this is not true. What do I have on my mind? Weed. I have weed on my mind. Do you have weed on your mind? Because Sundial was like $3 today. I mean, this is crazy. What do you got on your mind, Jason?
I'm a weed head also. I mean, it's up after hours 5%.
No, but do you actually smoke weed? Do you actually put the weed into some container and actually smoke it?
No, I prefer to invest in the actual stock.
Oh, no, I actually smoked it last night. I took 2 hits to help me go to sleep. I don't actually smoke weed to get like intoxicated or what do you got, high. But I do smoke it to sometimes put me to sleep because it's hard for me to sleep at night. I'm so excited. And let me tell you why I'm excited. This interactive broker thing and Webull allows you to trade after 1 o'clock. And I bought a stock last night. We're going to get into the market in a second, but I don't want to forget this, how excited I am. I bought a stock last night, RELI. I spoke about it yesterday. I woke up at 1 o'clock this morning. It was offered 5,800 shares at $5.50. Boom, I bought it. I bought it at 1 in the morning. I mean, what is going on here? I bought it at 1 in the morning. And this morning I sold it. Jason, let's cover the market.
So that was like a one-hit quitter? That was just...
I couldn't help myself, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
I encourage everyone to wake up all night long and trade on Webull and Interactive Brokers.
So I woke up also at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Do you ever go to sleep? Because when I text you, you're awake. Like, you respond right away.
Yeah, I mean, I do
but
sleep.
You're on Signal.
Yeah.
Jason is on Signal. If you guys want to get a hold of Jason, find him on Signal.
Get the Signal.
I was kidding.
All right, so anyway, I woke up. Signal. I kind of wish that I was sleeping, though, because I bought OCGN.
I bet you wish you were sleeping. Jason's married to a really pretty girl.
I mean, listen, you can only average down so much where you just, you finally just have to give up.
You bought OCGN?
Yeah.
I bought it in the aftermarket, too, and I thought I was buying it at a great price because they did that offering. H.C. Wainwright sold 3 million shares at like $7.25. It was an above-market deal because the stock closed at $5.
Yep.
They did it at $7, and the stock was trading at 18, and then, boom, the stock comes down. I thought I was buying great last night, but apparently I wasn't.
Yeah, full disclosure, I'm in at 1,500 shares at 1080.
I had 10,000 shares. I cut it back to 5. I'm right at about $11 on 5,000 shares of OCGN.
I feel fine about it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself when something's wrong. I feel bad. I feel good. Just convince myself. No, actually, I think the issue here is James Cramer talked about the stock a little bit, right? Yeah. You were not happy with his comments, right?
Well, apparently he just said that the price was too high, so whatever that means.
It doesn't make sense that he said it the way you're saying it because this could be a vaccination play for the world.
Right.
If it's true.
It is.
Okay. It could be true.
I mean, you've got the Bolsonaro from Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
He's requesting the emergency use of it.
Wow.
You've got the Philippines approved emergency use.
OCGN.
Yeah.
Could be the vaccine of the world.
It's Covaxin. Get used to hearing it.
Covaxin.
Satisfaction.
It sounds like The Fugitive. Remember that movie with Harrison Ford? It was like a Covaxin type term that where the one-armed man killed the person.
No, yeah, I don't know that one.
All right, it's okay. Why don't we cover the markets? What happened with the Dow, the S&P? Let's go through the whole thing. Let's get that out in the beginning. Can I bring up, while Jason's talking about it, I'd like to bring up the Dow so we can actually cover some of the things that are happening in the market. Let me bring it up real quick. Go ahead, Jason.
So the Dow actually had a record, all-time record, closing high today, 31,437.80, 62-point winner at the bell. That's good enough for an all-time high for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The NASDAQ actually slipped a little bit. It was down 35, and the S&P was down a single point. Moving over to Bitcoin, we've been so spoiled. Bitcoin was actually down about...
Hold on, let's bring up the Dow real quick.
Yeah, let's look at it.
Someone put an Apple... I'm using an Apple device now. I'm used to, here we go. Here's the Dow. Let's see, that's an all-time high then?
Yeah, that's what I just quoted.
What was the number? What's the all-time high? Reread it again.
31,437.80. Did I get it right? Yeah, I got it right.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the Nasdaq
It retreated a little bit.
it retreated a little
35 points.
bit. Okay. You can take that down, Brett, if you haven't already done so. I'm going to pull up the Nasdaq now. If you could pull that up real quick, that screen again. Okay, and then I'm going to click on the S&P. We're getting to learn how to do this, guys. We're brand new to this thing, this media thing. All right, let's continue, Jason.
We were going to talk about Bitcoin a little bit.
Bitcoin.
It's down 3%.
Is that important right now? I don't know that anyone really is paying attention.
I think there are more and more people becoming interested in this cryptocurrency.
What's the price of Bitcoin right now?
When we went on air, it was 44,700.
Yeah, I have it up here right now.
Okay.
Brad, if you could pull that up. I think people kind of acted like the world came to an end today. It went from 47,312, pulled back to 44 and some change, and I saw Riot and Morrow getting crushed.
They actually didn't finish that bad.
No.
So it was okay.
Got it.
Ethereum 1725, retracted a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing terrible. Gold is 1843, silver's 2709.
Brett, you have Ethereum up on there? Thanks, Brett. And does anyone trade Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin anymore? No one really cares, right?
No, not ever since the founder of Litecoin stepped down. He divested and stepped down. I really didn't trade that. That was one of my best trades ever, though. I took that from like 48 to like $320.
Do you have any idea where Dogecoin is? Now, I wouldn't normally quote Dogecoin, but I saw Elon Musk today. What did he say on a tweet? That he bought some Dogecoin for his new son, X.
Yeah, X.
X squiggle, 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 whatever his actual name is. They just call him X?
Yeah, he's got a position in Doge.
He bought some Doge. So I thought, well, let's look at Doge a little bit. I mean, is there any reason to own Doge? I thought it was a joke coin in the beginning, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, they use it for tipping, like gamers. They use it on adult websites.
0.07 cents, like right hanging in there.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to cover on your list? You covered the precious metals.
Yeah, we got oil up again, barely 15 cents, 58.50 a barrel.
Right, hanging in there. I noticed oil on the forward contracts is still lower, 48.
Yeah.
Strange. Why there's a spike in the forward?
I don't know, but I know recently that a lot of governors have come out and requested that the current administration kind of revisit the Keystone Pipeline and the negative effects that it's had on the job market. So that was kind of interesting.
Well, when you blast out 15,000 jobs with the stroke of a pen. I noticed that Biden, the Democrats complained about Trump in his executive orders. Biden had more executive orders in a single period of time than Obama and Trump combined in the beginning of their administration. 56 or 52, something like that.
Yeah, I believe it's 52.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's 5 times more than
I want to
those.
stay on topic, though.
Yeah.
Let's continue to go through the precious metals. What else we got?
I want to follow up on a couple of those tickers we covered yesterday.
Let's cover those tickers. It was amazing, this Sundial thing. So what do you want me to bring up first?
The first one, let's bring up the boring one, GSAT.
GSAT on the NYSE American. Hey, a solid 20% today, right?
Yeah, that was the boring gainer. They actually...
Brett, did you bring that up?
It actually almost touched $3. So the news on that yesterday was with Qualcomm.
Right.
They're going to be using their product in the new 5G router.
Well, that's come off a low base.
Yeah.
$1.22. Trading here, $2.40.
Yeah, so if you were along there, you were
You
rewarded
right
nicely.
Down in the aftermarket, down 16 cents. Do you actually own a position here?
I do not.
Okay, what else you want me to bring up?
Well, we want to get right into the weed. Let's just look at Sundial right now again.
All right, so let me apologize publicly to my son, Chase, who called me and said, Dad, I want to buy Sundial. It was $1.13. I said, hey, they just raised $173 million. Well, it's up 78% today. What do you got to say for yourself, Todd? Shame on you. Don't get in the way of your son.
What's the market cap? $4.5 billion.
Yeah, they're going to sell a lot of weed at $4.5 billion. I think this company is bigger than a lot of. I mean, it's kind of S&P size now.
You know what the float is?
No.
$1 billion.
It's got to be. Oh wow. Okay, so there's some insider ownership too.
Yeah,
obviously.
It's pretty amazing.
Right. What's the reason why it's? Do we still have it on screen?
It moved because of the Tilray and Aphria, APHA, are in talks to do a merger. And then also ACB, Aurora Cannabis, they report earnings tomorrow.
So Sundial is 320 in the aftermarket.
Yeah, 320.
Wow, this thing's just a monster.
Do you think it'll go to 420 and we'll blaze it?
This is a guy who doesn't smoke weed.
Come on, man. I'm just trying to fit in.
You fit in fine.
All right. Thank you.
What do you say about Sundial? What's the thesis? I mean, let's dig in a little deeper here. What's the thesis on it being $1, now it's $3? They sell marijuana.
Yeah.
What's the thesis?
Well, the thesis is this new administration, number one.
Could legalize marijuana.
Fully federal legalization.
Right.
And then his buddy, President Biden's relationship with Prime Minister Trudeau and Canada could lead to some of these companies in Canada being able to do business in the United States.
Mm.
So
I remember the legalization of weed being a big deal before, actually, that I saw groups that were opposed to legalization because they were worried that big business would take over the selling of weed. It seems like it's headed in that direction. I went to a MedMen store. Is it called MedMen?
Yeah.
No. Is it called MedMen? One's with the red bag. I wanted to buy some. It was like going to an Apple store. Literally, I was in an Apple store. It was under glass. It really was like an Apple store. It was that fancy. Was that where we're headed?
Yeah, they had like nice sofas and stuff. I mean, I've been there.
Nice.
They're very nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you're going to go and get your medicine. So they want to make sure that you're comfortable.
Weed's medicine now.
Yeah, it's medicine.
Okay.
Medicinal.
Yeah, I know someone who smokes a lot of weed. I won't talk about that person.
Right.
But I've never seen this much weed smoked, and it's like medicine for this person. Anti-anxiety a little bit.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it would be better in your opinion, do you think it might be better to have some of our military suffering from PTSD to try?
Oh, I'm 100% for legalization.
Yeah, okay.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just don't know how big the market is relative to a stock that was $1 a week or two ago.
I mean, now that it's totally mainstream.
There's no froth on this stock. This is just pure value. That's a smart-ass mark. Because when you have a stock that was $1 go to $3 and trade, I mean, it trades a little bit, right? I mean, it's really tight float, so it probably trades a few 100,000 shares.
Which one?
Sundial.
Sundial?
Like a few 100,000, right?
Try to like 2 billion.
Oh, yeah. So 2 billion shares trade a day.
Yes.
A billion shares trade a day some days?
Like clockwork.
Right. A billion shares, and how many were in the float?
1 billion.
Right. So the whole float trades every day.
Yeah, rotation's there.
Right. So value investing.
I mean, it's a huge...
People really understand what they're investing in.
Well, you've got Reddit on it now.
Oh, yeah. And is there a big short in Sundial?
I don't think there is. There used to be, but now there isn't. But there is a big short in Tilray, TLRY.
Right.
And that's what kind of drove the entire weed sector today.
Wow.
So,
what else you got besides weed?
Well, we've got weed. We've got some biotechs. We've got the metal miners. And, we've got some energy stuff, too, and a couple of outliers, like GameStop, like NAKD.
You talked about a few stocks yesterday. Let's bring up GameStop because we can't help ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
it kind of
closed up today, 51.20. Brett, I'm sure you're already on it. You brought up the screen. It's at 49.89 in the aftermarket. I see your boy Cam. He's talking about it. What's the big trade here?
They tried today, but it just didn't have enough oomph. You couldn't get out of the weed stocks. You couldn't get out of the weeds, I guess.
So you can get out of the weed stock?
Yeah.
This is the one day. If
yeah,
we can pull this up real quick. Brett, if you're still there, thanks, buddy.
It touched 60.
Yeah, so you touched 60 today. So it rallied hard. I mean, this is the one. I mean, here's the one day, right?
Yeah.
Opens. I think I traded 500 shares, by the way. I sold it for 51. Then it rips all the way to 55, goes back below, and all the way up here to like 61, 62? Yeah, 62.
Yep.
And by the end of the day, it's back here.
I would venture a guess to say that a lot of those people that sold around 60 rotated money right back into the weed stocks.
Right.
I mean, because the run on the weed stocks today was the entire day.
So it seems like, Brett, we can come off that screen. Seems like all you have on your mind is weed, silver, politics, and more weed. The theme today is weed, by the way. I figured it out. What other stocks do you want to talk about? Well, now your knack was rallying.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about silver real quick.
Let's look up NAK.
This was a stock that I think you have been pounding me on. I think you told me at 32 cents.
Yeah.
You thought it was still a play. Right?
Yep.
This is Northern Dynasty stock.
Yes, Pebble Mine out of
and
Alaska.
I think it's $1.02 in the aftermarket. It's ripping in the aftermarket. Why is it ripping? Is it because this show is live? No, we're not live.
It's because the shorters aren't in there right now.
So that's ripping to 102. I think you just recommended it. Well, you're not allowed to recommend it.
Well.
I think you mentioned it for entertainment purposes only, for informational purposes only yesterday at 82. Or I know the other day you literally were texting me in the middle of the night. Can you buy some at 81?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about it again. We talked about it yesterday.
We're waiting on approval. The appeal. The EPA has to come back within the next week, telling the legal team at NAK if their appeal can actually be entertained, if it's properly comprised, and then from there.
And if it's not,
then they have to fix it.
Ooh.
So
could the stock take a hit then?
It possibly could, yeah.
Right. But if the appeal was properly done, what happens then?
Then they move forward with the appeal process. It'll take 30 days. And also, there's Governor Dunleavy is involved too now. They've recognized that there's so much metal in the earth in Alaska that's vital to our national security and our national defense, like rhenium, for example. Rhenium is a rare earth mineral that's used, and it's very...
is that like unobtainium?
No, this is...
By the way, if you know what unobtainium is, comment below, and I'll give you $100. The first comment that tells me where the word unobtainium came from. Unobtainium. Hint. It was not on this world. Unobtainium. You were saying?
So this is something that's used in our military, on our fighter jets. So it's a key rare earth mineral. It's very important that we harvest that.
Brett, if we could bring up real quickly the screen, we got golden minerals here.
Another monster.
Yeah.
I think I've alerted this one several times.
You went out of your way, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I've told quite a few people about this one.
This stock is 98 cents in the after hours, up 9% today.
So this is more of a risk-off trade. When we're talking about risk-on, we're looking at all these weed stocks. They're moving like ridiculous percentages, along with the biotechs on FDA news, stuff with, phase 2, phase 3 information. But this is like hard assets. These are miners. These are harvesting precious metals out of the ground. And so goes the economy with the inflation and the printing of currency. This is a great opportunity for you to take a look at these junior miners, and also to take a look at buying silver and gold. Right now, you really can't buy silver. Good luck finding it. But this is a good way to get exposure to it by buying a company like this, Golden Minerals, who is set to release their second pour information regarding their Durango mine in Mexico. So we're going to take a look and see what kind of quality gold and silver that they're getting out of this mine. But in my opinion, this one is undervalued compared to the rest of the junior miners. So just keep an eye on it. I mean, obviously it's a great swing trade. If you got in when I alerted it several times, you could have just taken a ride with it all the way up to $1 here. And another one is NAC. Obviously NAK is more volatile because it's depending on the EPA for a record of decision. So I would be very cautious with NAK, but I would lean heavily more on AUMN as a more of an investment, actually. And that's just my opinion.
What's moving today?
Well,
let's go over what you want to talk about.
Well, as far as the stock market,
yeah, this is a stock market show. Risk on.
I mean, I think we've covered. Well, I wanted to talk about Twitter again. I want to give them some.
Yesterday we talked about Twitter's earnings. What do you want to give them some props? You love Twitter now?
No, I don't like Twitter at all.
You love Jack Dorsey?
No, I hate censorship.
Oh,
yeah.
But you didn't say you hate Jack Dorsey.
I don't hate Jack Dorsey.
But you hate censorship.
I just hate their platform and how they manage it.
You think he should be back on?
I think he's more involved just messing around with Square, and he's not even...
No, I know, but do you think that certain politicians that were taken off should be let back on?
I just think that they should manage the platform in a more fair way.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
So what about Twitter? It's your forum right now.
It's up 10%. I mean, it's another. It was 60 yesterday when I gave it kudos, and it's 66 today.
So it's doing great.
I mean, Kramer says it's going to 100. I don't know about that.
Kramer said it was going to 100?
Yeah.
Did you actually see that?
Yeah.
Did you hear it too?
Yeah, I think I might even have it up on my screen.
Wow. Kramer says it's going to 100. He's a pretty smart guy. People don't know about James Cramer. Is a Goldman Sachs guy.
Yeah.
He's a smart dude.
Well, we'll just keep an eye on it. Another thing, I want to talk a little bit about CLOV. That's the
CLOV.
the SPAC.
SPAC Jesus.
Yeah, let's talk about it some more. I kind of keep an eye on it. It gave the 5% back that it snagged on Monday
I think that
or Tuesday. I'm sorry,
I think
actually
when you
yesterday.
get a Hindenburg report, and some of it's true, you give investors pause. And so when you look at this over the last month, this stock was $16.
Mm-hmm.
It's pulled back pretty hard over the last 5 days.
What are you doing with it? Anything?
I sold it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this. Listen, it may be fine, and Hindenburg, obviously they came out, and then the company responded. But generally, when you see something in question, there's usually this thing called the greater cockroach theory.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you see one cockroach, there's really more cockroaches in the cupboards. If you find one or two, there's probably more coming, right? And you kind of want to get all those cockroaches out. They may have done that by responding, but there's usually more stuff to fall. Now, Clover's going to probably be fine.
Yeah.
But you can see institutionally it looks like it's under a little pressure.
But why would we even mess with Clover right now in this market?
I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, why, like Coca-Cola.
That's risk off. I put on Coca-Cola for full disclosure. It didn't do. It had good earnings, but didn't move like I wanted it to move.
So
you got to be prepared. Sorry about that. Do not bring that up. That's not the right symbol.
yeah, it's KO.
KOSS is more popular.
Yeah.
Actually, it's down.
Yeah, but
after
they beat. Yeah, but you never. Full disclosure, I almost never trade stocks or hold stocks through earnings reports. Almost never, and that's just because the upside it's usually limited, and there's a lot of risk involved. So I just
except for Twitter.
Yeah, I never had Twitter.
No, but I mean.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot of upside.
Yeah, for sure.
Right,
but.
I have a different philosophy than you do.
Mm-hmm.
When I like something, there's stocks that I would buy and, put away forever if I could.
Right.
And then there's stocks like Coca-Cola, which I thought I was kind of hoping for that sort of unicorn rally that they'd say, hey, if COVID's looking a little better, we expect restaurant sales to pick up.
Right.
So I still see Coke as a risk-on play for the recovery of COVID and the recovery of the restaurant business, food delivery, food services, and Coke's volume to pick up over time, and you can still kind of play that. And the earnings were good today, but they talked about...
Can you show me the 5-year?
On Coca-Cola?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Let's bring that up, Brett. Here we go, buddy. 5-year.
Okay.
So...
Well, you can see exactly where COVID...
Back in 19. They got
Look at
this is right
there's
after,
your COVID hit, yeah.
Yeah, there's your COVID hit. So it's still not fully recovered pre-COVID. So I still think if you were to look out on this chart, maybe a little bit more kind of all-time, Coke is going to go back into the right for me, but it's been underperforming for a while. I mean, this is the last year, and here we are at 60, and here's COVID hitting. It's got crushed.
Well, let's think about it. When a lot of different options for refreshments have been brought to the market in the last 5 years, I mean, you have an entire sector of energy drinks.
It doesn't matter. Coke's big enough that they buy into that market. They're going to pay up to get. They're the dominant player. And distribution-wise, whether it's Monster or someone, these guys are they're the distribution kings.
That's true.
Distribution is the king of it, and Coke is the king. And they distribute tons of other products for other people. And there's just no way to deny that Coke is the player. Now, you could argue that, those vitamin waters, the coconut waters, all that has been disrupting the business, but they bought a lot of them, too.
Yeah, they did, actually.
They aggravated a lot of them, too. But this is purely a COVID issue, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And people are probably drinking healthier drinks. I know that even I, at my weight, am drinking a lot more water.
There it is.
Josh had to get that
you had to get that in there.
I
just think there's better opportunity costs to deploy capital and.
Well, there's no question, but remember, I'm managing. Well, it's just a large number for me, right? So to put on $1 million worth of Coke.
Yeah.
I'm not in South. If I'm going to cut up my portfolio,
cut it up nice.
I would take some Coke and cut that up. As part of my portfolio.
If I was still living in South Florida, I could help you better with that.
Could you?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's probably a no-no reference-wise.
We got to have a little fun here.
What else you got?
What is...
What?
Let's talk about it. You got me all coked up here.
You like Coke like I do.
All right, Todd, let's get...
Actually, lately, I've been drinking a lot of Diet
That's Coke,
Dr.
though.
Pepper. But I don't know if this is a Coke product.
Isn't that
I don't
Coke?
think Diet Dr. I think that's a 7-Up, Dr. Pepper 7-Up product.
Is it? Okay.
But I sure love it. Diet Dr. Pepper.
That's your go-to lately?
I noticed a lot of overweight people drink Diet.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I mean, Warren Buffett drinks 5-6 cherry Cokes a day. He's not overweight.
You see people going to like McDonald's. They're like, yeah, I'll have the Big Mac meal deal supersize, mix in a Diet Coke. Like, what's the thesis for
Because
that?
it's wasted calories. If you're going to waste calories, don't you want to waste it on a quarter pounder? By the way,
Yeah.
there's nothing else to get at McDonald's except the fries from McDonald's and the quarter pounder, although I do like the chicken McNuggets. And I had a filet of fish the other day.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, I'm all over the place.
McDonald's, talk about a company
My
that's...
favorite TikTok is this guy who's, hey, honey, we're getting ready here to order. Can you be ready with your order? And then she leans over. He's like, what's on the menu? And she's like, hey, it's the same menu since we were 4. You know, anyways, if you watch TikTok, you don't do that, do you?
TikTok I do not have, and there's a reason for it.
There's some educational stuff on there about stocks. It's actually gaining a lot of momentum. I know it was popular during the pandemic,
Yeah.
but it's gaining momentum. It's really interesting.
I'm not gonna bring up the reason I don't like it.
Have you had a COVID test?
No.
I'm getting one tomorrow.
Let me know how it goes.
2:45, they're shoving it up my nose. I've got to go to New York. We're going to do the show from New York next week.
Yeah, that's why.
And so in order to fly to New York, they got to shove that stick up my nose.
Are you doing like they do the
PCR.
drive-through COVID tests?
I'm going to Walgreens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really convenient. Going to Walgreens, they give me a code, told me where to pull up. They come out, ram it up my nose, and I'm done.
You know what? Walgreens and CVS, those are, in my opinion, those are nice investments.
Right?
Yep.
Exactly.
For sure. So, let's see what else. Oh, you know the crazy stock that I talked about, AUVI.
Are you disappointed that was down?
That's my like ultraviolet light disinfectant scrubbing, high tech company.
Can you bring that up real quick, Brett?
It was at it touched 35 yesterday.
Yeah, but I mean, this is not a risk on trade.
Look
when you
at-
get a stock that goes from $4 to 20, 35 and back to 14 and you're disappointed about it.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That was a big run.
Just humor me. Look at the 1 year.
Where'd
Look
you
at the
buy it?
1 year.
Did you buy it right here?
No.
Kidding.
Look at the 1 year. Look at that.
Is that like the side of a river, 2 sides and then a river in the middle?
I mean, that's flatlined, and then they revived it.
Right.
But look, that's all because of COVID.
Where do you buy now?
I'm just waiting.
Yeah, I think you are waiting.
Yeah.
You have no idea where to buy.
Yeah, I have no clue.
This is not a risk on trade. This is risk stupid trade.
Well, the risk on trade was actually Sundial.
Yeah.
Sundial was the trade of the day. Like it or not.
That's parting of the Red Sea, that chart.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
You did talk about Sundial in a big way, and I'm sure there's a lot of traders out there trading billions of shares of that really important weed stock with their cutting-edge technology in weed.
If you listened to this show yesterday and you just kind of followed through with just the entertainment purposes, you probably had a fun day.
If you listen to the show. Yesterday.
Yeah, if you listened to it.
Thousands of people are listening.
Is it really that many?
It seems like it.
Oh, I think it's going to get more.
There's
though.
19,000 people on our channel.
Okay.
Some are from other countries, though.
Well, that's fine, too. I mean, OCGN, the Covaxin is from India.
Right. A bunch of... Hey, that makes sense.
What?
Well, we have a lot of followers from India.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Bahara Bio and the joint venture with OCGN is huge. I mean...
That stock went from 29 cents to 18. I just... Incredible time.
It's going to go back up, in my opinion.
You do.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time here.
Because it's the world's vaccine.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually the best. Don't take my word for it. Do some research. It's the most likely candidate to vaccinate children because of something to do with the protein synthesis. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not in the healthcare field, so don't take my word for it. I was just doing a little reading on it. And I came across that information.
I saw the COVID cases are down. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still, I mean, it's still out there. I see that there's a lot more.
There's your Mark Cuban information.
Yeah, I mean, it's reported by Fox News. Does that mean it's right?
It was
Can
reported.
you go to the screen real quick?
Well, what happened was the NBA and Adam Silver, they came out and reinforced their policy on the national anthem, and they said they would continue to have the national
Cuban
anthem played.
Confirms the Mavericks are no longer going to play the national anthem at home games.
You should call him and ask him why.
I'd love to know why that's going to
Yeah.
happen. Mark, really? You're really a smart guy, and I followed you for years, and of course you become massively popular, but I don't see how that's a good idea.
In a time where certain people are preaching for unity and coming together as a nation, I don't really understand why he would do that.
Don't you live in Texas?
I don't get it.
Texas, of all places.
Yeah.
The Mavs in Texas
Yeah.
are not going to play the national anthem.
I mean,
The next thing you know, you're not going to be able to have a gun in Texas.
whoa, don't go that far.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the difference, right? You can't hear the national anthem at a sporting event. Can you get popcorn there?
I mean, it's
Because popcorn can make people overweight. I ate a lot of popcorn before I came overweight.
this guy's trying to stop oil rigs, so yeah, maybe it will go to guns.
Who is? Mark Cuban?
No, Joe Biden.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different conversation.
Well, we're talking about unity.
Are we off the screen now? It's crazy. What do you think of this Mark Cuban thing? What would be the reason? Can you hypothesize a reason why the national anthem should not be played at a sporting event
It's pretty much customary. I mean, it's been a tradition
for a long time?
a long time. Seventh inning stretch. Are they going to stop doing that now for baseball? I mean, let's talk about. I mean, they do. I could see if Dirk was still there and they wanted to play like the German national anthem. You know, go ahead and play it. Like it. For example, here we go. The NHL. Okay, the NHL has several teams in Canada. Okay, they participate in the National Hockey League. So what happens is when the Canadian team is down here playing the American team, well, they play both the national anthems for the Canadian national anthem and the American national anthem. So. The NHL does it right, in my opinion. I mean, I don't understand.
They pay both.
So I want to see what happens. Here's a good question. I want this answered. If anybody knows,
is it O Canada?
yeah, oh Canada.
Okay.
So look, so the Toronto Raptors are in the NBA and they're from Canada. I want to know what happens when Toronto comes to play the Dallas Mavericks. Will they play the Canadian national anthem? Mark, if you have an answer for that, let me know.
Mark.
Yeah, see this slippery slope here?
Well, I'm not going to vote for him. I was going to vote for you for president, but you lost my vote. If you're not playing the national anthem, I think that's a big deal, and I have no idea why he would want to do that. I don't know what the upside would be.
Mark, is it your last name?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Cuban?
What is going on, Mark? Like, I'm pretty tilted about this.
Like you can tell.
Yeah.
Right.
I was a baseball player. We stood out, got out of the dugout, took our hat off, put it over our heart, and listened to the national anthem.
Right.
I mean, I just don't get it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's funny. My dad served 2 tours in Vietnam. Da Nang. He was a CB.
Yeah.
My dad, God love him, has Alzheimer's now. My dad didn't want to be on the ground in the Army, so he worked hard to get into the Navy. You know, he was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And got into the Navy. He was all excited he was in the Navy, and they stationed him on land. He gave him an M60 and said, "You're going to build things." A CB is like a construction crew.
Oh, yeah. They're
So I asked my dad, I said, did you ever shoot anybody? He said, "I just shot my gun. I don't know where the bullets went." Anyways. If my dad was coherent, he would be disappointed in Mark Cuban.
I think so.
Yep.
I mean, I think most, you know, how they honor the military and stuff also at games. Sometimes they
Sure.
provide them seats for the family and stuff.
How do you reconcile this? I hope it's not true. Mark, I hope this is fake news. It's coming from Fox, so it's probably not fake news, but let's hope it is.
Well, I did see on Twitter, you know, the social media platform that I don't really care for, but it does have some value. They doubled down and said that we will be playing the national anthem at all their venues. Adam Silver said that. That's our policy.
I got to imagine that the NBA will not like his stance. And they probably have the power to teach Mark that he will be playing the national anthem. Let's see what happens.
It's his team, but
But there's a franchise agreement, and the NBA has a lot of authority.
You think that's kind of like a homeowners association covenant?
It's
similar?
Like, my wife hates the homeowner associations.
Yeah.
But they do tell you what color you can paint your house.
Can you have your, like, I know an HOA that I used to live in, they wouldn't let me have my garage door open. Like, I would be, like, mowing my lawn, and I'd have to put my garage door down because it was in violation of the HOA covenants. It's, like, the craziest thing.
I want to give away merch, and everyone knows there's some people that have already won it. Put your commentary below about this thing with Mark Cuban and the National Anthem. I wonder if this is a risk-on trade for Mark. I mean, what's the risk-on trade of telling people in Texas that you're not going to play the National Anthem at the beginning of a basketball game that usually honors the military, the people who fought to allow us to be able to play games like that, the people that protect us, the police, the firemen, the first responders? I can't understand this one.
What's the upside?
I know. What is the upside?
I don't know of any upside. If anybody knows of any upside, please
Give us your
suggest.
commentary.
Yeah,
It'd be
please
great.
do, because
I don't feel like we covered a lot of stocks today. Let's get back on a positive note.
Okay.
I'll sing the National Anthem for you right now. Oh, say. Just kidding. You don't want that. We got to cover some stocks here. This is a risk-on moment.
I mean, the market was pretty polarized today.
Let me give you my commentary, if I can, on the market. There are signals that things are awash in liquidity.
Yeah.
And I would tell you that I would normally say there's no alternative for stocks right now. And you have an entire generation talking about it's different this time. And it's usually never different. Now, the thing that is different is you got a lot of money chasing far few more stocks. Remember, the number of publicly traded stocks is down by about half in the last 20 years. So there's a lot more money chasing fewer stocks, a lot of liquidity. So it may continue for a while. I'm not calling the top of the market. Excuse me. I want to be clear. I'm not calling the top of the market. I would never call the top of the market. I'm not smart enough to know the top. But yesterday we saw Sam Zell, a really smart investor, huge real estate guy, billionaire, very famous stock guy. He's talking about things don't make a lot of sense, and they're not making sense. But they usually play themselves out. But I'm still long. I'm still a believer. Now I'm buying positions. My risk on are my 13D filings, and you can see those. Starting next week, we're going to publish my 13D filings, and I file those after they're public so you can see them. I can't talk about them beforehand, but I do have a couple stocks right now that I am buying that I'm going to file 13Ds on. So I would say to you, are we in a bubble? Some things are a little bubblish.
Do you see why I'm emphasizing buying
Silver?
metal and the mining stocks, that sector?
Right.
It's a hedge. I mean, it's still on the stock market, but they're harvesting hard assets out of the ground.
Sure.
I mean, this stuff is like, just real quick, I know we got to wrap this up, but silver, the actual metal, it's in the Earth's crust at only an 8-to-1 ratio versus gold. 8-to-1. Do you know what the gold to silver ratio is? 66-to-1.
There's more gold?
It takes 66 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold.
Oh, wow.
And priced in fiat currency.
Right.
Okay. Maybe we should start pricing it in Bitcoin.
That would be my idea. Could you price in Bitcoin?
That'd be pretty cool. But we can get into this at a later date, but I just wanted to just give you a little bit of information on why I like the precious metals market right now in this time, in this era.
We got about a minute left. What's the risk on trade for tomorrow? What do you like?
Well, tomorrow we have Aurora Cannabis, ACB. They're coming out with earnings, and if they come out with a killer number, you're going to see the weed stocks get even higher.
So are you going to stick with your thesis on OCGN?
I am not selling OCGN. I may buy more, but yeah, it's going to be more of a long for me.
Let's bring that back up again. 985 in the aftermarket. The last 6 months. Let's look at the chart. Wow. All right, we're live, right, Brett? We're going to pull that chart up.
Yeah.
Wow. So the big event here. This is the last 5 days. Off the bottom, price the deal right here. Stock moves up nicely higher, pulls back. If your thesis is true that this could be the vaccine for the world, could be higher.
You can look at Novavax.
Right? Could be a lot higher.
Yeah, it'll be a lot higher.
For full disclosure, I own the stock in a portfolio I run. I got 5,000 shares of this stock. This is a risk-on trade for me. I am trading it, and I will add if it starts to rally.
Yes.
Now, Jason, if I'm adding when it starts to rally, what are you doing?
Well, if you're adding when it starts to rally, and you're a whale.
You mean the size, my physical size, or you mean the amount of cash I have in the bank?
The cash you have in the bank.
Oh, it's nice to be called a whale.
Maybe you'll run the price up, and maybe I'll just take profit on some.
The other day, my wife was giving me a hug, and she said to me, I said, I was not kind of feeling bloated. She goes, yeah, you do feel a little rotund. I said, she said to me, the word rotund. I said to her, rotund? I mean, did you actually say those words to me? And she said, well, I didn't mean rotund. It's just a little robust in the belly. Rotund, she said.
Christy, that's a great word.
That's 18 years of being together. She can say whatever
Rotund.
she wants.
I like
The love of my life called me rotund.
Well, listen.
Oh, the producer's saying wrap it up.
All right.
I am a little sanguine on the market. We're hitting new highs in the Dow. Weed stocks, some crazy stuff's happening. But I still think there's a lot of rotation.
Yep, tons.
We're going to be back tomorrow. Look at OCGN. Obviously, we're not giving you advice. Careful on risk. Understand what you're doing when you're trading. Do your own research. It's February 10th. This is Risk On. Comment below if you want some merch. We'll see you tomorrow.